Dubai frequently likes to brag about having escaped oil. Over 95% of their GDP is non-oil based, and less than 1% of it is directly derived from oil, according to their official website. Dubai appears to be one of the world's most technologically advanced and environmentally friendly cities as a result. This achievement is made all the more remarkable when you realize that the UAE has only existed for about 50 years. But, while I'm sure these GDP statements are technically true, they're also super misleading. In fact, it's likely that these pieces of data were cherry-picked to make Dubai's economy look better than it really is. You see, just because oil accounts for a very small portion of Dubai's GDP does not mean that oil has played a small role in their economy. Dubai has a deep past with oil, and they're still very much dependent on oil to this day. So, here's the truth behind Dubai's oil-free false reality. To truly understand why Dubai's oil-free narrative is deceptive, we must first understand how Dubai became oil-free in the first place. After World War II ended and all of the excitement surrounding Saudi Arabia died down, oil companies turned their attention to neighboring areas such as Dubai. And while oil was discovered in Dubai in 1966, it was far from a grand slam. The oil was enough to pull Dubai out of its abyss and begin building infrastructure, but it was nowhere near enough to turn it into a desert oasis. However, the same cannot be said of Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi discovered oil in 1958, and it was a home run for them. To put things in perspective, the UAE has nearly 100 billion barrels of oil, 95% of which is located in good old Abu Dhabi. They are literally next to the world's largest oil reserves, including Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, and Qatar. Nonetheless, their small town happens to be in one of the few places where there is relatively little oil. While this appears to be a curse at first, it turned out to be a blessing because it was exactly what the rulers of Abu Dhabi and Dubai needed to put aside their differences and work together. Abu Dhabi would become the new country's capital, and Abu Dhabi's ruler, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, would become the UAE's first president. This may not appear to be a big deal. A few neighboring cities uniting, and the wealthiest of the group rose to power. However, this was a game-changing moment. Because it was right here that marked the beginning of Abu Dhabi extending significant financial support to Dubai that's still continuing to this day. Abu Dhabi has acted as Dubai's godfather since the UAE's inception, funding dozens of projects, making loans, and bailing them out on numerous occasions. Emirates, for example, is more of an image piece than a true profit driver. And as for how this image piece was funded, I believe you already know the answer. Then there are all of Dubai's vanity projects. In 1999, they had the Burj Al Arab. Then came the Palm Islands in 2004. Then came Atlantis in 2008, followed by the Burj Khalifa in 2010. We now have Creek Tower, which may be cancelled. As the popularity of their port, airline, and vacation destinations grew, these sectors of the economy simply outpaced their relatively small oil industry. And this is why Dubai can claim that oil accounts for only 1% of their GDP, but guess who comes to their aid whenever Dubai requires assistance? Of course, it's their oil-rich partner, Abu Dhabi. The Great Financial Recession of 2008 is a prime example of this. As the global economy slowed, so did travel and the revenue generated by Dubai. They could no longer keep up with vanity projects like the Burj Khalifa, but fortunately for them, Abu Dhabi would come to their aid with a $10 billion bailout. We should also point out that Dubai has yet to repay Abu Dhabi, not that Abu Dhabi cares. Since the financial crisis, Dubai has consistently just rolled over their debt, and they currently owe Abu Dhabi $20 billion. That is only their debt to Abu Dhabi. Dubai also has a lot of internal and external debt. According to Moody's and S&P, Dubai's total debt load is $79 billion. Clearly, whether Dubai is oil-dependent or not, there is no doubt that it is debt-dependent. Finally, while Dubai would like to convince the world that it is completely self-sufficient and has overcome its reliance on oil, this is simply not the case. Even though oil does not make up a large portion of their GDP, It is the only reason the country was able to develop in the first place, and it is the only reason they are still solvent today. Without Abu Dhabi's oil bailout, Dubai would have likely gone bankrupt in 2009, and it's unclear whether the Burj Khalifa would have ever opened. This is most likely why they chose to name the structure after Abu Dhabi's ruler at the time, Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The reality is that Dubai is very much dependent on Abu Dhabi's money, backing, and influence on the world stage. Do you believe Dubai is self-sufficient in terms of oil? Or is it all just a hoax? Comment that down below. I'll see you in the next one.